Hello there, Ben Bowers, the Spirit Specialist, and I am here today to talk to you about this. But you'll have seen the title, so you know what this is, but this is what it comes in. A very nice black bag. It's a black bag, I wouldn't say it's very nice. And a very, very impressive wooden box. So this is Gordon MacPhail's 1982 Highland Park single cask bottling, part of their private collection range. This is a 40-year-old Highland Park. Very, very special indeed. So the information that you would want is in there. 51.5% ABV, filled on the 4th of July, which is my wife's birthday, and also American Independence Day, 4th of July 1982, and bottled on the 14th of July, which is our wedding anniversary, 2022, from a refill sherry puncheon, of which there are only 202 bottles of this. Now, you might have seen the private collection review that I did of the Glen Grant 70-year-old, and that was because I'd managed to get a sample of this. But there are 202 bottles of this, and I am going to crack this one open. So there we go. Let's get the cork off. Let's take that off. Let's take the cork out. Oh. Let's have a little sniff of it. Oh my goodness me, that smells absolutely amazing. But I am not going to pour it right now. I am not going to review it, because the reason I've opened this is going to be part of a very, very impressive tasting of Gordon & MacPhail. Now, you're probably aware I used to work for Gordon & MacPhail prior to opening the shop. And one of the guys I used to work with, a good friend, colleague, let's go with associate, Luke Todd Wood. Him, I, and Kat Presley, who now works for Nick Leanne, we used to basically cover England. Luke still works for them, and we have got together. We are going to do a tasting. So Luke is going to join me as the G&M ambassador, and we are going to go through a tasting which involves this, so you can explore just how impressive Gordon MacPhail are. They're still massively underrated. A lot of people still don't realise exactly what it is that Gordon MacPhail do, the history that they have. They are not an independent bottler. They specialise in maturation. They buy new make spirit and they mature it themselves. So the tasting will involve this. So the reason for me opening this is that I need to decant them into bottles to put into sample packs to send to people just around the UK, I'm afraid. So if you're watching from outside the UK, unfortunately, it's not something you're going to be part of. But we will have this. We will also have, I'm going to put it up there, for God's sake, Ben, don't drop it, because that retails at 1,500 quid. We will be having the Gordon MacPhail distillery label Glen Tocker's 2008 vintage. So this is a 2008 that was bottled in 2022. If I put that there, you might be able to see the whole lineup. We will then go for probably, I'm still not 100% on the lineup, but we will probably then have the Mortlach 15-year-old. Now, this is actually their new new ABV. It was previously 43%. This is now the new 46%, which arguably is a lot better. We're also going to have their Connoisseur's Choice. So this is one of their wine finishes. So this is in a Thusk 13-year-old that was filled in 2009 from a refill. It was in a refill bourbon barrel, but then it was in a Cote Roti wine cask. Casks, because there's 2,060 bottles of this. I think it's 3 casks worth. But one of their wine finishes, which are consistently absolutely brilliant, and you know, a good long time spent as a finish as well. So we'll have that. We will also have, because I actually found this, this is one of their old bottlings of the distillery label. So this is the old boxes that it used to be in. This is an Ardmore, which is quite an unusual Highland distillery. Excuse me, that was distilled in 1987. Now, it's one of the old bottlings, and it does say on there that it was bottled in 2003, but this is Ardmore from the 80s. So we've got quite a bit of history to go with this as well. So that's going to be part of it. Pretty good lineup, I think you'll find. And then we'll finish with the 40-year-old. But I've got a gap in the middle. Because if we're going to do a really good premium tasting, let's go for it. It's in another bag, but it's a white one. So maybe it's not as good as the first one. But this is part of their Connoisseur's Choice range, but but they call it the upper range. This is when we get into like the premium side. This is a Bruichladdich single cask bottling from 1990 that was bottled on the 15th of March 2021 at 51.9%. 30-year-old single cask strength Bruichladdich that was in a refill sherry hogshead. So we've also got, and I'll take that out and I'll put that on there because I don't want the box to fall off, and then I'm going to have to very carefully put it in. Friday, 31st of March, myself and Luke Todd-Wood of Gordon MacPhail, and if I can somehow wangle it so we can maybe get somebody like Stephen Rankin or Stuart Urquhart to maybe just dive in, say hello, introduce themselves, maybe. But you'll get loads of information from Luke, you'll get loads of information from me, and you'll also get some absolutely incredible whiskies. So just to run through, Glencairn 2008, Mortlake 15, a Thusk Coat Row tea finish. We've got a 1987 Ardmore. We've got a 30-year-old single cask Bruichladdich, and we've got a 40-year-old single cask Highland Park. This is going to be an absolute doozy. Tickets are £75 per person. That gets you a sample pack of 6 times 30ml samples and also exclusive access to a Zoom call on that Friday evening. We're looking at starting at, I think, 7:30. And it will be about an hour and a half, that sort of thing. Depends how long we get chatting and how many questions there are and things like that. But an incredible lineup and an incredible opportunity to try some of the very best of what Gordon MacPhail have managed to achieve. So what I may well do is then do a little separate review of the Highland Park and the Bruichladdich for after the tasting, but I do not want to spoil it for people that want to try all of these. So get onto the website, www.spiritspecialist.com/events, and that will take you to the page where I've got the events on, because I've also got, if you're watching this before 10th of March or before that to send it out, I'm doing a tasting with Wireworks, and if you keep an eye on that, that's where the events are in terms of tastings ongoing, because Lockley, still waiting for a date. But this, Friday 31st of March, is going to be an absolute cracker. So that's me done. I shall see you in the next video. Cheers.